Welcome back to Scotch Hour. This is Noah.
This is Jesse.
And this is Brian. Fresh off countdown number 2.
Fresh off. Okay, Jesse, so what do we have on the docket for this evening?
Well, you know, Brian, do you want to introduce the 15-year you selected? And then I will go into more details if you'd like.
I'm going to discuss kind of why I chose this particular bottle of Scotch.
You know you're going to get interrupted and cut off a lot because we're going to be like, because it's a sexy bottle, because you're purple.
Because it's a sexy bottle. And if you have seen the picture, Noah, put it in picture here.
Here's Noah.
That Jesse took of the Scotch with the flowers around it. Supreme artistry, Jesse. Very nicely done.
What I do.
You took a nice photo. That's what you
did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, so I chose this one because we had been doing 15 years.
18s.
And 15. You just did a 15.
Right.
You did.
Yeah, and so this was my contribution to the 15-year because initially when I first started drinking Scotch with you guys, you had mentioned I should try the Glenfiddich 12. It's like the most made, most consumed. And I was like, I like this. This is a good, and it's an affordable, mass-produced or whatever, but it's a good Scotch. So I remember on one of my initial bike rides, I had just been listening to you guys. I think I had maybe done my first ever episode with you guys, and I stopped into Bookmakers, which we were going to again, kind of discuss tonight. And I tried my first order ever. I'd ever ordered Scotch from a restaurant, and I tried the Glenfiddich 14, and I tried a pour of the Glenfiddich 15. And so that's what I wanted to see if I still like it. So since we were doing 15s, voila. So Jesse, take it away. Tell us about this fine Glenfiddich 15.
Absolutely. Let's pass this over here. So, the Glenfiddich 15, good looking packaging. We like that.
Or you could turn it into that camera too if you wanted.
Good looking.
There's cameras and lights everywhere.
Good looking packaging.
They're everywhere now.
Good looking packaging. I like the purple color. We all like.
We're all blinded.
Semi-triangle packaging.
I don't even know where Jesse is.
I'm right here. Duh. So again, great packaging from an exterior, just looking at the product package. Next, bam, the bottle.
That is a pretty bottle, though.
It is a pretty bottle. I like the gold. I like the little off-white. I like the triangle-shaped bottle, if you will.
Oh, I don't think I ever noticed that initially. That is kind of a nice touch.
Math, 30, 60, 90. I don't know.
I guess it's more of a numbers. 60, 60, We're talking numbers. I'm very excited about
the curvature. 3, 6, 9. So the Glenfiddich 15-year-old Speyside Scotch, so a Highland Scotch from Speyside. For 15 years, they aged this beauty in European sherry oak casks, and then they give it a little turn, if you will, in a large cask, which is never emptied more than halfway since 1998. With that, kind of gives that curious flavor, and it ultimately something interesting about Glenfiddich. So they boast a lot, and they have a lot of reason to boast. Most drinking 12-year on the planet. They produce the most 12-year. The 15 is the first ever 15-year-old Scotch to enter a top 10 Scotch competition and have any sort of result. And with that, it doesn't matter if you finish first or 10th, 15s are just commonly not top placers in these competitions. And this one actually did place in the top 10. Again, one could argue that's also because of the sheer volume of their distillery, but nonetheless, they do a lot to make sure it has some great flavor. Yaman.
Do you think that has to do with the process that they use, which is Solera?
That's what I'm talking about. They put it in there. They never let that
Solera vat
turn.
Right?
The Solera vat that they never empty more than halfway.
So the Solera is done. It's basically it's fractional blending, and they mix. It's a mixture of ages over many years, which lends to a more reliable.
Now, here's my concern and question with that, Noah, and maybe you can help me. How do you have something be a single malt Scotch when you're outright mentioning you're blending it? And there may be ways. I'm just seriously questioning it. I don't know.
I think it might be this is something we'd have to probably research a little bit more because I honestly did not totally
look at itself. though.
It could be blending with
different
themselves.
15 years.
Yeah.
So they've blended it year after year after year
But
since 1998. We're talking about.
It's a single malt. It's
probably the one malt, but but they are blending it. They're basically it's fractional blending, probably of the same malt is what they're talking about there, and that's probably something we may need to do a little bit more research on,
or go visit you. Give us some tickets.
Yeah, or go visit them. But I thought that was really kind of interesting how that's the process that they're using there. So.
It would be nice to learn about how they distill, Scotch versus how they distill, say, wine in the state of Colorado, or rather, whiskey in the state of Colorado. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, well,
it's going to be the same pretty much everywhere, I think.
Anyways, I didn't mean to totally sidetrack
No, you're good.
I was trying to keep it on topic.
No, absolutely. The Solera, absolutely that process. When I read about that, though, my one serious question was, you're outright letting the world know you're blending this year after year after year. At what point does it no longer remain a single malt Scotch? So this is the bad boy, if you will.
And I think this kind of goes back to what Brian's saying. Maybe they're just blending in the same malt. So that's why it's still a single malt as opposed to blending it with a different malt.
So they're not blending it with a Lagavulin to get a heads up.
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, that's like I said, there's something we probably should have researched before now, but we didn't.
Well, there you go. That's why it's Scotch Hour.
I don't know what button it is, but that's probably the one it should be.
Nope. I'm gonna get this one.
All right. It's the
I
yellow
gotta turn
one.
this one off. Okay, this one would be the.
Not the yellow.
No,
Orange.
that's applause.
It's probably
Purple.
Green.
Green's alien.
Green is crickets.
Nope.
Well done, sir.
All
Nicely
right.
done.
Popping this bad boy open. Let's get a nose
let's get
of this Scotch.
I'm excited.
Ooh.
That's a little bloop.
Yeah, I likes that.
I'm sure she didn't.
I'll have to ask her later.
I don't hardly notice the lights pounding down on you. All right.
It's just like flashing lights, Kanye West.
For those of you who haven't figured it out, we did purchase some lighting. So
Yeah, you'll notice.
For those of you
Kind
that
of like a
commented.
neon tan.
Wait, let's see.
With a neon tan.
I like that.
Okay, color. Well,
Good color. Nice. Well, goldish orange brown. Oh, I like the nose on it immediately.
oh, you know what's interesting?
I didn't
To
put
be
the bubble.
smart.
Oh, by the way, we do now have these little dram books, so we can actually take notes. Thanks to one of our listeners.
Oh, it's
Thank you, listener.
yes, interesting.
Thank you, listener
to
Debbie.
See.
Yeah, some of the lights are warm, some of them are cold.
Yeah, but still, this
He's
is a gold.
cold-hearted man.
Are you going
me,
gold?
this-
I think it's probably closer to honey or straw, maybe.
Oh, no, okay, I'll go. Yeah, but it's definitely not on the amber side.
Is it different
I
from
was-
the yellow light to the white light?
Yeah, I'm going off the white light here. I'm going more with like somewhere between straw and honey, closer to honey than straw. But
I just see splotches
What?
now because I've looked at these lights.
You're looking in the
unfortunately.
wrong way.
I know.
You gotta look at the camera, not the light.
I just gotta stare down at.
do
the
not be like the
ground.
bug that flies into the light,
Look away from the light.
unless you're trying to go to heaven or something, or maybe up to the
knock,
up
knocking
to
in
the-
heaven's
Omega
door.
point.
One of the 7 Lords of 7 Cycles.
up to the Omega point, which is at the 10th dimension there.
Yeah.
Where you can go
The
interstellar.
halls of Amenti.
You know, this is
Yeah,
all
we'll talk
covered in the movie Interstellar.
Shut up.
I know.
Okay. Jesse,
What?
What was the ABV on this one?
41.3.
41.3.
Hold on, dude. I just threw that number out. Let me. I think it's just 40.
It is 40. It's right
It's
there.
just 40.
I was like, wow.
41.3 is the Scotch I was researching earlier. Remember when we talked about the 15s last week? The 15s are consistently 40%. alcohol by volume, whereas the 18s were 43. Yeah, bada bing, bada boom.
Learn something new every week on Scotch Hour, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Brought to you by
Not always.
Scotch Hour.
Scotch Hour.
Okay, so you cheater. Already tasted. I saw him.
My glass has more in it than yours. I don't know how that would happen unless you've been drinking.
Yeah, because
you don't. You're too busy looking at the lights.
Quadruple pour. Jesse pour. One for me, one for you.
I'm getting some apricot.
Smell? You're just going odor.
Wait.
I'm not going odor. I'm going with the bouquet.
Mm-hmm.
First smell for me was rubbing alcohol.
You know, when I did when I took a first scent of the early pour, I did have a scent of heat, like of alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I got immediately. It was literally of rubbing alcohol.
But remember how that's when it first opens. A lot of,
Right after that, I get oak. Lots of oak, which I love. So then we transition for me into some of the fruits. A little bit of the apricot.
Some banana. I get a little bit banana.
Is there a banana?
I was going like a vanilla though.
I think more vanilla for me too, but it's like a vanilla banana.
Well, it would make sense probably once again.
Ooh, no, it's vanilla. I get vanilla now.
No, I get a little bit banana. A little bit
for me, I
apricot.
do get a little bit of that. I think I called it for some reason like caramelized banana, but that gives that vanilla banana.
But you just remember when you deal with American oak, you are going to typically get some kind of vanilla usually from it anyways. So
this is European oak from sherry casks for 15 years.
Yeah, but doesn't it do some American oak?
It only emphasized it was European oak for 15 years.
Because I have in my notes that it's ex-sherry and some ex-bourbon.
I didn't get any ex-bourbon from the Glenfiddich site.
Where's my little notepad? Because I mysteriously don't have mine.
I
wrote down some research too. I could maybe be the deciding factor.
The final countdown.
Where is my green pad?
It's in the drawer. But here's what matters.
Solve that mystery.
This isn't about that. This is about what we're tasting. I didn't actually look up any tasting notes. I looked at a little bit of history.
I just wanted to remember what I
on the taste though, it's pretty mild. It has a
very mild, very smooth.
Time to taste. You already tasted.
Yeah, I already tasted mine.
I'm gonna taste mine now.
It does not, in my opinion, have a lingering finish. It's a very short finish, but it's smooth. It's a short, smooth finish.
No cube needed.
No.
All right. This is an easy drinker for me.
I'm not getting quite as smooth a reaction on my initial drink, but now that I see Noah over there,
do you need a stormtrooper and a Darth Vader?
My initial drink was smooth. I just think when I was watching you, it kind of caught the back of my throat.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna let me go back.
I think it's always good to at least try it with a cube, so that way we give people the idea of both.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna pour what I have here into the cube. What I think. But interesting. Let me see here.
No, would you like a fresh pour or just use what you got?
Yeah, I'll do a little. Just add a little. Dum 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 dum. Gotta force choke somebody. Not you, because you're pouring.
Thank God. I'm not that guy, Noah.
Not Brian, because his birthday's coming up.
That's right. These two gentlemen just turned 21 again.
Somewhere about there. Been celebrating the birth month. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thoth?
I have another. Of Thoth, no, but I don't quite remember the year.
It was 36,000 years ago. You're probably not going to remember the year.
I wasn't around with good old Thoth.
I would say.
However, rumor has it he was a pretty wise dude. He kind of knew some stuff.
Have we jumped already to the smart challenge?
Nope, we have not.
Okay.
We're just giving teasers out there. So we figured out if we give a little teaser,
that
then
way
later on it's not a
you're
big
right
teaser.
there. You're going to plug in all the commercials where people are like, ooh, tune in next.
That's right.
And there's going to be like Jesse's going to be selling something. Check out these boba socks. Buy a pair of socks from me. And they donate socks to homeless people. Boba socks.
That's probably not what I would be doing,
Jesse's
but I do
sock.
like to make sure the homeless are taken care of. And
Any
socks and
case-
underwear are one of the things they need.
That's right, boba sock. Boba.
In any case, I am not a fan of the cube in this one either.
Dude, I could tell you that before I had a cube. It will only mellow it out more. It's already super mellow. And that's
Although
part of a
to me,
blended
though,
Scotch.
it seemed to have a little bit, that made the finish linger a little bit longer, though, with the cube.
All right, man. Linger away. Cool it off.
Oh, yeah. Smoothed it right out. Just cut right through everything.
But I don't know, to me, the finish seemed to last longer.
Keep it straight.
It's
Keep
still
it strong,
it's
man.
lasting.
Yeah, the finish lasted way longer with the cube in it than it did without it, in my opinion.
Oh, no, it lasted long in both cases, but with the cube, it does still last long, but it's just much smoother. There's a lot more of a, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like almost like bite.
Not to me. So to me, this very much so tastes like a blended Scotch. It's very smooth. It's actually extremely well balanced. So whether or not it is classified as a blended or a single malt, it is super smooth to me. It is
I think because it
balanced.
says single malt on there, it's classified as a single malt.
All right. Thank you, Scotland, for classifying this as a single malt.
This one we've got to compare with the Singleton 15-year.
I'm telling you, I think this is great. Neat.
I do too. That's most Scotches, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, are better neat. That's why most of the time I do not waste my time with a cube.
No, but if we're going to be doing tasting notes, it's probably good for those who do want to drink it with a cube, just to kind of give them.
Okay.
Here's what it tastes like.
So tasting
full
notes, tasting
mast.
notes, tasting notes.
That's what it tastes like half mast. I'm going to stick with full mast. Brian does want to compare the Glenfiddich to the Singleton. Now, what we can already deduce is the Glenfiddich, the packaging, marketing, win, opportunity. Not so much here, but when you go to the bottle, he's in a trance.
These both have the. Okay, no. Let me ask you this: this Glenfiddich 15.
Here.
Would you classify it in any way, shape, or form to have a spice?
No.
No, not really.
No pepper,
spice.
no spice.
No pepper, no spice. Huh?
Vanilla, apricot, cream.
I get that with the cube. All those things you're saying.
I think we need
I smell the cream.
I think we need to refocus in.
On what?
He's letting us know we're at 18 minutes and 32 seconds, and we need to move onward and forward.
I wasn't really saying that. I'm just saying maybe we should just move more focuses on Glenfiddich.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, I'm
Rather
trying to
than-
think of the. You said the taste. You already kind of hit your taste notes. Noah, did you hit your taste notes through and through?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with my tasting notes. To me, I think it had a nice little apricot taste. So it has, somewhere from the darker end of straw to the more honey color or light golden. So right around there. The aromas are nice. It has a nice forward palate, a nice mid palate. To me, the finish is a little bit weak. It finishes up a little bit too quickly for me. I would prefer something to linger just a little bit longer there. However, when I drank it with the cube, it definitely gave it like a straw color, like it really did water it down. It muted out a lot of the flavors. However, I tended to get a little bit more of a lingering finish when I did drink it with the cube. But that's just those are my
I think you're pretty much right on with the front, mid, and end on the palate. And for me, this would be a great Scotch with a coffee crumb cake and a piece of simple, thin crust, pepperoni and cheese pizza. A little bit of basil.
I don't think I'm gonna drink this with the pizza.
Try it. You'll like it.
For me, because I'm getting that banana, that caramelized banana, that kind of almost like marshmallowy, campfirey, caramelized. Like this is sweeter for me. I'm not.
So you're
drinking this with
talking
pizza.
about a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a caramelized banana.
Yes.
This is a guy who's like, stay on subject, guys. Let's talk about Ghostbusters.
Stay on target.
Great movie, by the way. I love those movies. The first two. The others,
anyone who's probably way younger than us probably has no clue about that.
They're like,
that
what's
reference.
the Stay Puft Man? It's an 80-foot tall marshmallow man.
Just for the record,
imagine a Twinkie 80 feet tall.
Imagine going to your place of work and you're just kind of shooting the breeze, and for whatever reason, we're talking about Iowa, but for some reason Iowa, and I mentioned Children of the Corn.
Malachi.
Right? We all know Malachi. We all know Children of the Corn. They don't know Children of the Corn. Even my son Dylan knows Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
well,
I made him watch it.
I
made him watch it when I gave him a haircut. He's like, oh, "All right, Dad."
Well, I would say that for those who didn't watch it as a younger child, maybe they're probably better off not knowing about Malachi.
Well, can I tell you this? It was freaky as a kid, correct? Pretty freaky. The screaming, the noise.
More I was bored.
Well, Brian, remember when we used to go see horror movies as children? I was probably the one who was laughing the whole time.
Remember the Shocker?
Yes.
Oh, speaking of which,
really, you're gonna bring up the Shocker?
Yes.
The movie.
The movie, The Shocker.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The guy, he
gets electrocuted but doesn't die.
But
I know.
You brought up the old school, kind of horror movies. The slasher, Friday the 13th, that type of thing. Oh, dang it! You guys don't have freaking Netflix.
Nope.
You get that Fear Street, man. Fear Street. 1994, 1978, 1669, dude. 1666 or something. I think it is.
Okay.
It's really good, and you would dig it because it's got axes in the forehead, dunk,
Talking about axes in the forehead. There's a video game.
This is the guy who told us to stay on subject.
There's a video game called Friday the 13th where you're Jason.
Yes,
and you go around killing people.
The boys play that. It looks a little scary when I'm watching. I'm like, dang.
Any case, I did say the
back on topic.
I'm fine with it.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and
it's a dram of a good time. Great color, good flavor, mild start, middle body, and finish. Not bad, but an easy drink. Again, great for me. If I was going to drink this and had a quick choice of food right here, right now, coffee crumb cake and some pizza.
Yeah, you said all right. Yeah, you did say that. When we said, I don't know about the pizza.
Scotch and pizza, you can't go wrong.
Ryan, did you want to do your wrap up on this before we move forward to the
for me, it's kind of it's utterly middle of the road. Being that it's a 15, it's not totally memorable on one level for me to not just say I'll do the 12-year. That's kind of where I am on this one. It's good. It's not bad, but later on in the post show, I do need to kind of back it up because in my brain, I have gone towards the
Lagavulin?
No, the one we had last week.
Oh, Singleton?
The Singleton 15-year. For me, I know the packaging is but I enjoyed the flavor more, I think. So that's my wrap up.
There's a little more heat in this one.
There's a little bit more heat in this one. I already did my wrap up, so from that, we'll just go ahead and move over to shout outs. This week, I don't have any shout outs personally until we actually went to dinner this week tonight.
Yes.
And Jay, you did a phenomenal job.
Amazing job.
I tip my hat to you if I could take off my headphones, but there you go. I love the service that he provided. He was like Johnny on the spot.
And this was at Brian's Steadfast.
Yeah, where did we go, Brian?
This at Bookmakers.
Bookmakers.
I mean, the food. I mean, the service.
He did.
It's
fabulous.
one of those. I told you a long time ago. We talked about what type of establishment would you like to represent, kind of what you stand for, and they're kind of a smaller market, mom and pop, and they've been sticking through it, and their food's delicious and their service is excellent, and I love going there. I stop in there on bike rides. You guys have heard me talk about that, so yeah.
All
Jay,
right, so
we all had burgers.
Another good experience.
Service was amazing.
Great experience.
You did us a proper
yes, he did.
job. It was
he waited on me
amazing.
like 2 or 3 nights ago with Aaron. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Awesome.
Was he just as good then too?
Oh, always. That's what I'm saying. That place
rock
is just
on, Jay. Rock on.
You know, okay. It's honestly, if
rock
we're being
on, Jay.
honest, rock on, Jay. It's pretty unassuming.
Oh,
right
I think
from
I
the
know what you're
front.
talking about. I was talking about more like.
I know what you were talking about.
Is
Not
that like-
everyone
was
would
it-
know what you were talking
It's
about.
from the movie Say Anything, right? Or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
No, that you doing Breakfast Club?
Oh yeah, Breakfast Club.
That too. Say Anything, Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
No.
I know what you thought.
Easy A. These are all these movies. I was thinking Easy A.
Okay. Anyhow,
Anyhow,
where were we?
Jay.
Jay, great service, you guys.
No, Jay, you were amazing. We do want to thank you sincerely. We appreciate you got to our table right away. You got us our waters immediately. It was like 30 seconds. You took our drink orders, brought them properly quick, took our food orders, including the appetizer, brought the appetizer between the entrees, or before the entree, I apologize. And with that, it was like amazing because how many times have we gone to a place where they bring it all at once? It's like, no, we actually wanted the appetizer first. Again, the blue cheese balsamic chips, amazing.
the pub chips.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
So
will
good.
say this: I hate blue cheese. I despise
This
it.
guy.
But honestly, these
There's something
these-
unique about it.
Yeah,
it's a drizzle.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a drizzle or whatever, but the blue cheese was very mild, so it was mild enough to where I could actually eat it, and which is really surprising because I really don't like blue cheese, and I was able to eat this.
Yeah. And we all had burgers, different burgers, red, white, and blue burger for Brian, the barbecue burger for Noah.
Barbecue bacon.
Yeah, and
don't
all
forget the
three
bacon.
of them were amazing. So thank you so
What
much.
was yours called? Colossal?
Commander, man.
Commander. Oh. Commander. Colossal Commander. Begins with a C.
You know what I wish? I wish that restaurant had like somehow had enough money to buy that little corner thing. That little corner thing that's now a bank in that area used to be a Kneader's Bread, and they closed it down, and a bank bought it. You know, banks on every corner. But man, I could see that place. You know, bookmakers taking it to there, putting a little roof deck that you could see over almost into the lake.
That'd be kind of cool.
Sure would. But either way, it's still I mean, you'll see. We got photos of the meal.
yeah,
good food.
Hey.
Darn good food.
Cheers to Jay.
Cheers to
Jay,
James.
thank you.
Heyo.
And if you guys ever do make it up to Bookmakers in, is it Aurora?
Yes, it is.
And Aurora, let them know that you heard about them from Scotch Hour.
And look for Jay. He was amazing.
And ask for Jay. Yeah, definitely get Jay as your server.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? He's like, all these people keep asking for me.
He
What's
was
going on
cool.
here?"
We let
Yeah.
him know. We let him know, hey, we're going to mention you because you gave us great service and
Exactly.
we appreciated it.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess this now takes us to our Smarter Challenge.
What a challenge.
Nope, nothing.
Hang on. Smart. I was thinking if I
Smarter
had any
challenge,
other
mate.
shout outs, and I don't. So I was still I was pondering in shout out mode, and I hadn't moved into Smarter Challenge voice. But I'm just gonna go with it now.
Okay. So we did.
Smarter challenge again. Come on, man.
What is the Smarter Challenge? man? Remind us. Come on.
Smarter challenge.
Smarter Challenge.
There we go. That's all we needed. Now we can move on.
All right, now we can move on. So the Smarter Challenge this week is that we were supposed to research Thoth and
The emerald.
Specifically,
Wait, just so we know how to properly say this, right? Because there are people out there who are like, they're
Not
not
yet.
sure how to say it.
yeah, but not
You're
yet.
looking at how to pronounce the name of this Egyptian god of writing, magic, wisdom, and the moon. Yes, the moon. But how do you go about pronouncing its name? We're not exactly sure how the ancient Egyptians were pronouncing it. This is why you will find interpretations, because there's only interpretations of how we assume it should be pronounced. However, the most common way of pronouncing it in English is as Thoth, like an oath, but with an initial TH.
Like an oath
Thoth.
with a TH.
Thoth. But you will find some people pronouncing it as Thoth, Thoth, and other different ways. But the
Alright.
safest way to say it is
How is there a safest way to say it?
Oh, well,
If
you
you're
want
walking down the
I'm
street
kidding,
and you
man. No,
say it
I'm
the
good.
wrong
I'm
way,
good.
they're like,
You're good.
you
The safest way was
it just like
Thoth.
Thoth? Were you like MC Thothing?
No, he was saying
Thoth.
It sounded like that because you're talking and he was still talking.
Knock,
Any
knock,
case,
who's
so
there?
The research was on Thoth and
The Emerald Tablets.
And the Emerald Tablets. So, do one of you guys want to start?
Brian, I want to throw this lure right to you. Then we're just going to go clockwise because I think we're going to run out of time before we get to me.
So you mean counterclockwise?
No, clockwise.
So you want me to go second?
Yeah.
You got the charts, dude. We got to get to you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We should probably go you. Then
Nah, man, we're going you.
All right. There we go.
All right. So, very busy week, by the way.
Okay.
Let's start with that. So, my homework, it was done. It might have been done not quite as in-depth as I wanted it to be done. I don't have 17 ink-full, bright-colored pages of graphics.
These aren't ink. They're laser printed.
Laser printed. Sorry.
Next level. Level up.
Well, I actually had some skywriting that was going to happen, but since we're indoors, you're going to miss it.
I got a really powerful flashlight. Let's go outside, guys.
All right. So, but I did the homework nonetheless, and I did get to learn about Thoth. Got to learn about my buddy Thoth. And I wish I could remember the person that seemed to have been the main author initially, like in the 1900s, to initially have kind of transcribed or whatever the supposed emerald tablets. But there's all this unusual, things that are mentioned about the emerald tablets that they're actually like, obviously from, Thoth, this Egyptian god who is not in fact a god, but can kind of come and go as he pleases from life to death, and kind of teleportation, and gets into some pretty crazy, wacky stuff, but very interesting because it did. I mean, it sounded whatever. See, I've got to know because it's from Atlantis. All right, we haven't established that. You should probably do a better job of introducing it because I'm just all over the place.
It's okay that you're all over the place. I'll go next, and then I'll be all over the place, and then we'll let it all wrap up.
Okay, so...
And then we'll be like, Noah, you got 4 minutes.
Thoth, yeah, okay, so Thoth was
we're not going to do that.
An Atlantean from the lost city of Atlantis.
As long as we know from his beginning, but he may have been
He
before.
was around from before then even,
yes.
right?
36,000 years ago.
Yeah, so... At some point in time, I believe, Thoth, he's living in what are the Egyptian pyramids, and these in that around that area, he's living in the Egypt area. There are other Atlantean colonies in the like the Mayan temples, in South America, in Central America. There's like 9, 11 different continents of Atlantis. Atlantis sinks.
Or rises.
Yeah. Thoth is actually, part of these tablets, it's written for how like the pyramids were actually built. And, it talks about his ability to defy gravity. And, it's not, thousands and thousands of slaves kind of defying. I mean, really, because the pyramids, it's like kind of defies explanation, the physical, the physics of it. And these emerald tablets supposedly kind of explain it. And there's that sense of magic and him being, Thoth being knowing. And I guess it gets, really even deeper into this, these halls of Amenti and the flower of fire and the lords of 7 cycles. And it gets really deep, but it seems to me, in my opinion, it sounds kind of like a religion. It sounds almost like Greek mythology, like Egyptian mythology, Atlantean mythology. It's all very interesting. And of course, what struck me as very interesting is the talk that some of these tablets, these emerald tablets, were hidden in the Mayan ruins and or the their version of pyramids, right, or the Aztec ruins. I think it was Mayan that had some of them. So again, in Mayan, for those of you that don't know much about number systems, but like the Mayan culture was like really big and ahead of their time because they came up with like zero. And the idea of a zero in a placeholder.
You're a zero.
And yeah, being able to have a zero and a placeholder, you could have place value, and then you could develop a real usable number system beyond just counting numbers of sticks or lines and stuff. This zero placeholder was really cool. So, and I know that this Thoth, and these emerald tablets were supposed to like really explain like the unexplained and the kind of the they have a lot of answers to a lot of questions and things like that. And so when you and it talks about reading it hundreds and hundreds of times to get it bestowed upon you, but eventually you see the light of the emerald tablets however you read them or understand them, and that's where you get led to this incredible otherworldly or interworldly from heaven to earth ability. It gets real deep. That's just the top layer, so I'm sure you could go really deep. But for me, it's exciting because, like I said, it reminds me of almost kind of the Egyptian mythology and the Greek mythology and the Roman gods. It's pretty interesting when you get into it because it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Cool. Jesse, are you? Oh no, you're not next.
No, I'm going to go next. I think Noah deserves the wrap up because he's absolutely got the most true knowledge. I think for myself, much like you, Brian.
I want to learn.
Man, Noah and I actually studied this for hours together.
Yeah,
and what I can tell you is, unlike some of our other subjects where after 5 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I know less now than I did at the beginning, Tartaria. But unlike that, with this one, I think there are a lot of very simple takeaways. So you consider a timeline that at least 36,000 years ago, it's believed that this person, being, entity, I'm going to call it an entity for now, started, that's the record on data, 36,000 years ago, Atlantis. Now, a lot of people think of Atlantis as a mystery, a dream, something,
a myth.
A myth. I fully believe in Atlantis, and I think that we've got proof historically that we have chosen to see versus chosen not to see. I'll get to my point there in a very brief moment.
Aquaman.
Oh, dude, Aquaman, if he was real, and maybe have been real, maybe he was.
Maybe he was.
Thoth. I'm going to pronounce it a little bit different than you, Brian. Thoth. Maybe he was Thoth. But anyway, an entity, a being who goes through time and is all wise. And I'm going to start it there with all wise because someone who's all wise is self-reflective. They love life. They love love. And they also understand they are a bit of energy. They are nothing more. We are not this body. We are not one little piece in time. We have this opportunity to be ever more, if you will. So he moves forward through time. And as history shows it, so we have some people who have kept records well enough, thank you, where Atlantis sunk. Others say it actually rose up and flew away. And that is something to really, truly consider because Atlantis was undeniably, historically, through literature, the most advanced civilization to this day ever known to this planet. Now, he is a being who goes away and comes back, and he ventures through, and this is what gets exciting. He gets this opportunity, and I love this because it's like a teacher, and he gets this chance to go through civilization, and he goes to the Egyptians and the Mayans, and all these different pieces of history. And as you read it, or as it was transcribed, the best we'll ever get to know, because these emerald tablets, which were not made of emerald at all, by the way, they are a substance far harder, stronger. They are alchemically created, not something of nature, if you will. They were created so they would withstand any chemical, physical, temporal abuse, and to this day they have, as far as we know.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. These tablets share this wisdom of eternal learning. Now, here comes the next piece, though. You listen to the readings, the best we'll get. I don't know that any of us, although I think we should make it like Raid Area 51 thing. We should be like, find the Emerald Tablets. Maybe not. Anyway, the Emerald Tablets, the closest we'll ever get is what we've probably already seen and heard, and it's this ultimate wisdom, and it's almost a religious scribe where we are, again, not a being, but an energy where we go through multiple planes, and because of that, we can also go through multiple times. Time travel, replacing one life with another is entirely possible, and it gets very exciting to me because it reminds me full-heartedly of Interstellar. And I could ramble about non-factual things for hours, but what I do think is factual is I think that Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, great actor, truly, absolutely after True Detective. All right. Yeah, it wasn't Dazed and Confused and the drug orgies that did it for me. It was True Detective.
Can you imagine Thoth? The older I get, they say the same.
This is what I'm talking about. Maybe Matthew McConaughey is Thoth. Let us know. Hop on the podcast.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. But nonetheless,
Matthew McConaughey is Thoth.
Truly, it's this piece, though, where you got to come at peace with yourself, with love, with wisdom. And, the closest thing I can think of is these Buddhist monks were the closest we'll probably ever know to the power of Thoth, where he understood there weren't just 1, 2, 3, or 4 dimensions, there were more. And that's where I'm going to pass it on to you, Noah, because I did spend time learning about this with you, but it was one of these things where there's so much.
I'm just calling time out when you get a chance because I have a question before Noah goes.
Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah, what's the question?
So, evidence. Where is the evidence?
Okay, I love that you brought this up. Here's why. Consider that power makes history. Now consider 100 years from now, if we talk about the Civil War, what history will our forefathers
who knows what it'll be now?
know of? A confederacy. They have torn down the statues. They have torn down the figures. There is no physical history. So once you do that, and we know they've tried to do that in Egypt and other areas of the world throughout this same history we're talking about right now, you take that away, and then what proof do you have? So I agree with you. There is this piece where it's like, well, show me the money. The other piece is power makes history. I'm going to say power abuses history and doesn't fairly show both sides of that story, and that is very unfortunate.
Okay, so that's assuming if that's the case, but with that, sometimes there is still physical evidence. I mean, there's still physical.
How about an emerald tablet dated 36,000 years?
Yeah, we're not. You don't need to see but that's what I said. I read about it, and it seemed like the first publication of this mythological tablet in these this Thoth information
1900 years ago
was in the 1900s.
Technically, I'd say you would have to go back a little bit further. About
first published, when
maybe they're first published about the actual writing on the tablets, but there was actually students before then. All you have to do is look at Plato. Plato talked about Thoth. Actually, he talked about Hermes.
Okay, I remember hearing Hermes. There you go. So now I'm with you there.
Thoth is Hermes.
Thoth was Hermes. Yep. Okay, you got me. You got it. And this, remember what I was talking about, the Greek mythology and all. Interesting. Yeah, see?
So if you're wanting to, so you're talking about proof. Well, you may not be able to get direct proof of Thoth himself and what he wrote, but you might get it from the students. that he supposedly influenced.
All right, Noah.
Who said that Thoth is Hermes? How did that get?
That was in the. I'm not sure.
It is believed through the transcriptions that we have seen, which we will never see the actual Emerald Tablets. Is my guess.
The intersection where they've heard Thoth described, and they've heard Hermes described. There's an intersection.
Hermes is the one I think who said that he was Thoth reincarnated.
Interesting.
Okay. Hermes,
he is quoted as saying that. Yes,
Hermes. How do you say his last name? Hermes what?
But Hermes wasn't a real person, so how can he be quoted as saying anything?
No, Hermes was a real person.
You're assuming he wasn't real again. This is where you took these Confederate statues down.
Wasn't Hermes
and you need proof? A god,
the Greek god of messenger, the messenger god Hermes. Is that right?
Some would say war. Some would say power. Some would say love.
No, war was not Hermes.
War was Mars.
No, Mars is
that's war.
No, that's not the Greek god. You're doing the Roman gods. Ares was a Greek god of war. Yes.
Whatever.
Okay, back to but anyway, the intersection of mythology and Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, or whatever is very prevalent in.
Well, Mercury is the other one.
Mercury,
Hermes, and Thoth are.
Notice how these are all planets, by the way.
Thoth was a planet?
Not Thoth. Mercury, Mars.
Well, that's because that's what they did with the gods, the Roman gods. Jupiter was a Roman god.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess the first question is, I guess we could talk about like who is Thoth.
All right, man. You got 4 minutes.
Well, I think we're doing the new extended version, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we could talk as long as we want about this.
It's Jesse's Smarter Challenge.
Oh, yeah. Be ready.
Good, yeah. So basically, anything that we run over in this section here will be added into our extended version. You'll still catch next week's Smarter Challenge and our wrap ups and everything. That was all happening. This one we'll just end up splicing this part out and putting it into the extended version.
You're the mixer.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait. Bring that funky music.
I would say mixer. I'd say more like editor.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I edit.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. We're going to start calling you Noah Sir Mix-a-Lot.
So I did print out a lot of stuff just because like I found some pretty interesting things.
First of all, here's what I want to know before you jump in.
Oh, okay.
What's your passion here? Because you absolutely have a passion here, and I love it. What's your passion with Thoth and the Emerald Tablets?
It kind of goes back to when I was studying chakras and energy and vibrational frequencies of people. And there's a time when I was living in Utah, I have a good friend. Her name's Tara. I don't think she ever watches the show. She knows about it, but she doesn't watch it. But anyways, her and I and a couple other friends, we started doing like chakra balancing, and we were meditating and stuff like that. And I learned about the Kundalini and then some other things that go along with some spiritual work. And during this time frame, I ended up coming across Thoth and the Emerald Tablets, and learning about the Emerald Tablets. I do know that he had like famous people like Plato who talked about it. You find if you start diving and doing some research into this, you'll start seeing that there are some very powerful and wealthy people who actually they study the Emerald Tablets, and they're very powerful and wealthy to this day. Very powerful and wealthy families. And but the problem is it depends on like the sect of group of people. One could say that they're probably, even to this day, maybe, and this is where it kind of gets kind of weird and fuzzy. But some people might say that this group is the Hermetic order, and we started looking at the Hermetic order. We started talking about magic, and then you're also starting talking about certain other things. I'm not sure by us going through, reading, and listening to the stuff of on the Emerald tablets, it didn't really seem like there was anything really bad there about
abuse.
It's all about being children of light,
how to
joy,
get to the next
how
level.
to get to the next level. But I do think what happened is maybe the Hermetic order, they follow these rules or these laws, and they probably use the magic for a bad sense, like dark magic. And this is where you kind of almost start going back and start looking at Tartaria.
Agreed.
So a lot of this stuff that I'm kind of like have been introducing us to research is going on almost through like some of the stuff that I've already started to, like a pathway I started to go down, but I haven't gone down very far. And I think it's very interesting because I've never really had anyone to talk to about this stuff. And I'm sure you guys probably don't even know what the Kundalini is.
It's a type of pasta.
I've ordered it, yeah.
You've ordered it? I'm glad you guys know what the Kundalini is.
It's got a red sauce.
Yeah, okay. But
Kundalini.
it's basically
Pomodoro.
it's an energy source that goes through your body, goes up through all the different chakras, and it brings about spiritual awakening. And when people go through this Kundalini awakening, they tend to a lot of things in their life starts to change. And as I was going through this stuff, like meditating and the stuff like helping to balance my energy, the chakras of my energy and stuff like that, I have also experienced astral projection. We could talk about that later.
I think that's when you drink so much that you don't just projectile vomit, but you do astral projection.
Asteroids.
No, there was no alcohol involved. In fact, alcohol is probably not a very good thing if you want to open up your the pineal gland. It helps calcify the pineal gland. So technically, drinking alcohol is not good for that. And I was looking at ways to decalcify my pineal gland way back then too.
Don't drink fluoride-treated water.
Never drink and drive. By the way, never drink and drive. Do not ever drink and drive.
Yes, do not drink and drive. So any case, so I did, like I said, I stumbled upon Thoth in the Emerald tablets and some of the stuff here, and you know, like part 2 of the Emerald tablets, it talks about the halls of Amenti, and so here, and I'll put it onto the I'll just splice it into the
this
show.
Photo you're seeing on the show.
But in any case, if you look at it, it's like a pyramid, and the existence of like where we live, which is like the level of ignorance or like low level energy. This is where people live, like in fear, where groups are broken up into like individual groups, right? Where you have groups pitting them against each other and stuff like that. And the people in power who know about the Emerald tablets and how you're supposed to advance. They purposely try to keep people in a low vibrational state so that way they can't go into the next dimensions and stuff. And there's a book called the Celestine Prophecies where it talks about the Mayans and how them as a group had an awakening and they moved into the next dimension. And you're starting to see a lot more people nowadays starting to say how we are coming across another great awakening to where there would be people who are going to be moving into the 4th and into the 5th dimensions. And so the halls of Amenti, as far as like what this person was talking about, is like level 1 is the 3rd dimension. And then up there it goes from the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And until you get to the point where you have reached the highest purpose and basically become one with the universal consciousness or God consciousness. And that's called the Omega point at the 10th dimension. And in any case, this kind of also goes back and plays to how some religions believe in reincarnation, where if you have not achieved the enlightenment that you needed and you haven't gotten to that higher vibrational state, when you pass away, so let's say you haven't gotten to the high enough vibrational state to where you can't pass into the 4th dimension. When you die, you get sent back down to the 3rd dimension to relearn those lessons. And there's and that fourth dimension, that crossover from the fourth to the third is like a veil, so it wipes out your memory, and then you have to redo it all over again till you get up to the 10th, and you learn those different vibrations. But here you go, you guys can take a look at that real quick if you want. And like I said, I'll put this on the
I'll see it on the podcast.
On the podcast. So you know, so basically that's what kind of like this is talking about here, and these kind of pages right here are talking about that. But the real kind of cool thing here, like as I was kind of like studying more about like the deep state and stuff like that, there's like a thing it's called like to be or not to be, or as above, so below, as within, so without, which means that it's a universal law that if you, what you change on the inside will manifest on the outside. What you change on the spiritual level will then manifest on the physical level. And so that's where this whole as within, as is without, or you know, in and out, and then or as above, so below.
I like what you just said. I'm going to interject one thing. I pray to the Holy Spirit or to Scotch. Either way, I'm praying to a spirit. I'm getting to the next level.
That reminds me of a meme that I saw.
So you're talking about going higher or low. You're getting to the next level.
Well, that's what I heard. I had heard about him. Like that's what the halls of the Menti were. Thoth, he had the ability to travel between them, right?
Yeah. So with Thoth, he had the ability to, because he I forget what the term is that they use in the book or in the video that reads it, but it translates into alchemy or alchemist. And so if you start looking at alchemy and alchemist, that really those symbols and stuff like that is where you start looking at like Leonardo da Vinci, all of them. They used alchemy, and that this is during the Greek times, which is when Hermes was around. And stuff like that. Well, actually a little bit before that, because Hermes was in part of the Greeks, I believe. But anyways, he was talking about the what did I just say it was called?
The alchemist.
Alchemist, yeah. And if you start looking at the main symbols of alchemy, you'll see like you have like the triangle with the line
3, 6, 9.
Yeah, and they have the 3, 6, 9. Importance, which is Nikola Tesla, the importance of Nikola Tesla. A lot of people think Nikola Tesla was not really necessarily talking to like aliens or something like that, but he got in touch to what the Emerald Tablets were teaching and started to harness the magic or the technology of the Atlanteans. And so with that, but you have to know about alchemy. Like if you look at like, it's kind of crazy when you start looking at some symbolisms from alchemy, because you'll like if you go see like Conoco. If I got my symbol correctly, if you look at Conoco, I believe that
3
is
chevrons.
Conoco is the one with the triangle and the line through it. That means Earth. That's the alchemy symbol for Earth.
Nice.
So really you have like when you look at alchemy, you have to start off with the 4 basic elements. You have air, earth, water, fire, and then you have ether, which is like the spirit realm. And then from there, there's like different type of symbols in alchemy having to deal with like alcohol and all this other stuff. And alcohol, really weird, because it is a spirit, it strips. They use, in alchemy, it strips the essence from whatever substance that it's from. And that's what it does, right? If you look at like when you're trying to strip an essence from like essential oils or whatever, that using alcohol to like strip it, right? And so spirits, alcohol, it's like stripping you of your spirit.
I'm much more likely to strip after drinking alcohol.
Yes.
When you're blacked out.
Nope, one drink does it.
But like the Emerald Tablets, it does have like it has 15 chapters. We have the history of Thoth when he talks about him being from Atlantis. He's basically the last Atlantean, And he did there. I guess there was like there was a couple other, civilizations that you mentioned out in like Central America and South America that there were some Atlanteans there, but they weren't part of the priesthood or whatever. Or they weren't higher. They weren't as high up, and they didn't have all the information.
Yep.
So basically, as far as like the group that Thoth was from, he was like the last of them, and he was basically charged to go out into the ape men, the men in the caves or whatever, which is basically us, to educate us and bring us along, to teach us and pass that knowledge along.
And they think that the Mayans were passing along that knowledge, and the whole group ascended.
Yeah, they ascended because they moved up the next dimension level, or maybe a couple dimension levels above that.
Mayans were smart.
And then you have the second chapter is the Halls of the Minty, which talks about what that pyramid there that we just passed around. Chapter 3 is the Key of Wisdom, the Spaceborn. This is kind of really weird because I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of like Star Children?
Only in the movies.
You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
I might be a star child.
Maybe I should have been like, maybe I should have brought out.
Where's your hat?
Yeah.
You should have had your hat on the whole discussion.
Maybe I'm a star child.
So, anyways, there's a thing known about like Star Children where there are certain people, or the belief is that there's certain people that were actually from other planets, but spiritually they came here to Earth to help teach or help guide humanity as a whole to bring them up to the next level of dimension, to help bring about this great awakening and stuff like that.
Dude, you were gonna freak out when you see my trailer teaser. You're gonna, dude, it's like freaking me out. It's very cool.
So as you want to wrap up, the Emerald Tablets. What is it that, like, how would you
are we trying to wrap it up right now?
No. I'm just saying, as you're doing this for our viewer, how are you trying to put this in a package that's more easily understood? Because what I can tell you is, and I don't know how Brian sits, but when I watch the different videos and listen to different casts, I was more lost listening to them after the halfway mark than I was to the halfway mark. They got so complicated. Is there a way you would simplify this?
Yeah, let me get through the different chapters here, and then I'll try to
synthesize it.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Because the dude that I listened to, the redheaded Kenny G looking dude, who I think we could probably get a hold of, and I almost think for sure he would talk about it. He did a pretty good job of synthesizing it, like in layman's terms. All right, Noah.
So the Dweller of Unall. So Unall, that's the alchemist. What?
That's number 1.
No, that's not number 1.
Number 5.
That's number 5. Chapter 6 is the Key of Magic. Obviously, there's and I'll just run through it now. There's the 7 Lords, the Key of Mystery. Number 9 is the Key to Freedom of Space, the Key of Time, Key of Above as Below, the Law of Cause and Effect, and the Key of Prophecy, the Keys of Life and Death, and we got the Secret of the Secrets and the Supplementary. I'm not even like paying attention. I'm just like,
I'm listening. I don't know about you guys.
I'm listening too.
But before Hermes, there was the Egyptian god Thoth. Here's some information that's relating them to from Thoth to Hermes, and then also Mercury is also believed to be Thoth. Here, talking about Thoth, translated a little bit, but. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. But in any case, if I'm going to just wrap it up real quick here, I would say that depending on what one wants to believe or not, Thoth is apparently someone who came from Atlantis, had the advanced knowledge after Atlantis had fallen, was given the responsibility to pass that knowledge onto lesser beings to help them progress, both spiritually and even on the physical realm as well as the spiritual realm, to help them pass through the different dimensions and bring about their ability to matriculate into a higher being, I guess.
Good word.
With that, though, there's things that come about. He had the abilities because he knew how to master the magic that goes along, or the knowledge or technology. Because one can almost say, if you look at a primitive society versus an advanced society, the technology from the advanced society might seem like magic to a primitive society. So to say that maybe that they use magic may be slightly bit incorrect. It could just be more advanced technology. And we would be foolish to believe that there isn't more advanced technology out there, and that those who are in power, that they would not be selfish in keeping that power from themselves and keeping it from the masses. And I don't want to go too much into that type of thought process, because I can definitely dive
the political side of it.
Yeah. So I would just say, to wrap it up, is Thoth is someone who wrote some tablets that were meant to survive the elements of time in order to help lesser beings to be able to advance both spiritually and physically.
I fully agree. No, I thought it was a great challenge. The thing to me, it sounded very much like scripture. And again, I meant what I said. It was great. I am still a little lost on the transactions from his Atlantean place to Hermes to Mercury.
I think he went back to Amenti and then came back out later.
Right, and I understand that. So Amenti being the spiritual world up in the sky, far, far away, the power plane.
Yeah.
But that piece is something I'm very interested in because, again, so little history for something that is obviously, potentially so real.
Well, I would say since we didn't really far exceed the 1 hour mark here, we probably won't need to add anything into the extended version unless we really want to try to talk more about this topic.
No, I think you brought some great knowledge, and I'm super grateful for that, Noah. I think it was an outstanding topic. The gods, the history, I don't want to use the term religion, but theologies is absolutely something that's real.
Brian, anything else you want to say on this topic before we have Jesse introduce us to our new one?
Yeah, you got the you got the Egyptian mythology, you got the Greek mythology, you got the Atlantean mythology, and I think they're all extremely interesting. And I go back, like, just kind of revealing my age a little bit, but my boys, we all read like all the Percy Jackson novels, that helped them learn about Greek mythology, right? Well, that Rick Riordan was the author of those, and he wrote another series called The Red Pyramid. Same philosophy, but it's Egyptian gods. So I could be very interested to see where Thoth, where an author, could take this. Obviously, and who knows? And again, like I always started, I was kind of like, okay, what's the proof? Because I'm going back to, it's a wonderful story. It's all very interesting. It explains a lot, but it's just that, much like that's what mythologies were, is they were stories made to explain the unexplainable, right? That's where.
Wow, there's a lot of things that science still doesn't explain.
Exactly. No, for sure. But I find it, I think all of that is phenomenally interesting.
I think this might be a topic for us to come back and revisit, maybe in a slightly different avenue. But with that, let's go ahead. Jesse, what's the next week's Smarter Challenge?
All right. So after a little bit of debate and deliberation, next week's Smarter Challenge is for you gentlemen to watch The Great Gatsby and decide.
Which one are we talking about?
The more recent one, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I love that movie. I saw it in 3D.
I know. I have no doubt. That's why this is an easy one, right? But here's where it gets a little less comfortable, which is, what is the importance of attire and presence? That can be with a car, a house, or clothing. Let's start with clothing. And to bring 3 examples of the importance of that presence, one with clothing, one with attire, one with transportation to the outside world. Along with that, I will most likely embarrass myself by bringing 3 examples of that said attire to my world, dressing with 5 minutes of fashion with Jesse.
All right, so that was, is it Gerald Scott Fitzgerald?
F. Scott Fitzgerald, yes.
Scott Fitzgerald, okay. That was close.
You were, no, I love,
That's
here's my
impressive.
thing. I want that you guys are already interested. We're going to take this to the next level.
So I had to watch it and then do what? What was that other part of it?
3 examples of the importance of
Attire.
Transportation and housing.
So basically, like, when you look at the story of the Great Gatsby, like, how does his attire? Why is his attire important? Why is his home the way it is? Why would someone buy a big fancy home like that and act like
this guy?
okay,
check out the big brain on Noah. See how they tie in.
Like big vehicle.
I love it.
So like, why would someone drive around in a Ferrari versus a Yugo?
Okay.
If they had the means to do so.
Gotcha. All right.
And then we were going to experience.
Am I on the right track here?
Dude, you already nailed it. You know that though. Okay. We're all super smart. We try not to be too braggarts.
Super smart.
Yeah, you are. You silly goose. But we're all super smart in our own ways. And with that, we all tie in our own smarter challenges consistently along the same path. And ultimately, my smarter challenge will also lead us to get prepared to dress up for next week's dinner, gentlemen. That adventure.
Okay. So you start off the good night.
Here we go with the good night. Noah, thank you so much for the smarter challenge, the emerald tablets. I thought it was great. For me, it just really came down to the spiritual piece, which is about peace is the first step. And I think that's what's important for me to share with our viewers is the first step is finding inner peace. And if you haven't seen Interstellar, please watch it. He does a good job, Matthew McConaughey, really describing what that might look like. And then also the fact that we're all energy. At the end of the day, we are all only energy. I was emotionally torn, I will say, by Interstellar. Again, thank you, Matthew McConaughey. I was crying, and it was impactful to me for days. It was recommended to me by a couple people I worked with. Sterling, you were the first. I appreciate you, Sterling. And I didn't watch it for half a year. When I did, the impact it had on me will never leave me. I still think it ties right into this emerald tablet theory. And
of course it ties in. If Matthew McConaughey is Thoth, then yeah.
Thoth.
It all makes sense.
I do think that. No, I like not him individually, but that character, man.
He just keeps getting older.
I mean,
Thoth just keeps getting older.
We all keep getting older, right? We're all 21 again.
Amen,
if you guys don't know, these two are about to turn 21 again. Noah did
Today.
A couple hours ago, like 14 hours ago. Brian's about to in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And happy birthday, you gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But with that, again, final words on the Scotch. Great golden color. Mild scent. Mild body. Mild finish. It's going into my bottom 20%.
Okay.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, not overly distinguishable between the Singleton 15. Now that I've got the Singleton 15, I mean, I think I could go back and forth between the two. So I'm going to kind of put both of them as just kind of a mid-ground, just kind of in the middle. You know, if someone has it, I'm not like, oh, I got to dig into that. But I'll be like, yeah. You know what I mean? As far as the topic, I love the topic. I love learning about anything. I just like that we learn about stuff. That's part of the thing. I was looking forward to coming back to doing Scotch Hour and celebrating our birthdays, even though I'm now a working man. The endless summer must end.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one, I don't feel sorry for you for having worked all summer, but we appreciate your own self-indulgence and pity.
That's right. I'm not complaining. I'm kind of complaining. But I don't complain during. You don't hear me complaining during the summer.
Hell no, because you weren't working.
Not at all.
Like, gotta go jet skiing, guys.
That's it. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about
all right,
that.
so I'll just say the Glenfiddich 15yr. It was, I'd say it's middle of the road for me. I'm not nothing to really rave about, but nothing to complain about either. It had a couple really nice little flavors in there. Good front palate, good mid palate. A little weak on the finish as far as I'm concerned. But with that said, that's all I need to say about that. But I want to thank both of you guys for being here today, celebrating my birthday.
Happy birthday!
As we do this episode. And lastly, for all of you who are watching, if you like this topic, please leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think about Thoth. Tell us what you think about the Emerald Tablets. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, we are on YouTube, Rumble, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music. And with that, you guys have a great night and cheers.
Redheaded Kenny G guy. Leave a comment.
We are
I
done.
want to hear from him. Cheers.
Cheers. We're here done with this episode. All right. Good night. And for the patrons, we will have a little extended version for you.
Happy birthday, Noah. Happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you. Not yet.
Make sure you give us a thumbs up, share it.
Thumbs up.
Comment,
Share
subscribe.
this.
We hope you enjoyed this